Heyo, Valiant Versatile here on the new Nostromo Wreckage map. Here to talk about the basics of how to counter the Xenomorph. So, when you load into any map, the first thing you'll notice when you approach a generator is that there'll be a control station right there. And control stations are often near generators, right there, as you can see. And we're gonna talk about the control station and the flame turret for a bit, as it will be a very important role to countering the Xenomorph. So, see the display right there, that means you see the number 4 right there on the screen. That means to say that's the total number of deployable flame turrets around the map. So total number will be 4. It may be more or less depending, I think. Because I'm playing by myself, I'm not sure of the total numbers, but we're gonna assume it's 4 as it says right there. And we're gonna go ahead and prepare it. As you can see, it goes now, the station goes into cooldown, and it's much like the EMP from the Singularity. It takes time to come back the item, so you can keep pulling out flame turrets from here and then just deploy, like, I don't know, 4 flame turrets at one point. But yeah, once the bar builds up, it will be available again, and we should see the number 3 displayed on screen. Let's go ahead and wait a little bit. And it should say number 3. There you go. So, as you notice, I got a number of debuff. The curse debuff, ignore. Like, that's Hex Ruin. But the exhausted, hindered, and incapacitated status effect is because of me holding the flame turret. So, as you can see, you can still sprint. You just walk a little bit faster when sprinting, and you do leave scratch marks. Keep that in mind. And you're walking. Yeah, you're just really slow, and you can only deploy the turret when you're at this state. So if you get hit while carrying the turret, it actually gets destroyed. So the way to prevent that is to drop the flame turret right off the way and take the hit, and then you just go elsewhere. The flame turret will be out on the field, dropped, but it's not destroyed, so you didn't waste the time taking out the turret, and then you get hit and it got destroyed anyway. So basically it's as if you never take out the turret at all. And I think when you're pulling out the turret mid-animation and the Xenomorph comes out, it will automatically get destroyed and interrupt. The action is interrupted. So when you pick up the flame turret, it counts as a temporary item by the icon, as you can see. So meaning to say that if you have an item in hand, you can still carry a flame turret, no problem. If you have another temporary item like a flashbang, let's say, you can't pick up the flame turret until you drop it on the ground. Then you can pick it back up again. Right. So yeah, and you can see by the little ring around, the little ring aura around me is like whether you can deploy the turret. It needs enough space so you can deploy it on the ground. If it's too narrow like here, like in indoor maps, it is pretty horrendous. So when a control station is in a narrow spot and you want to deploy it nearby and it's really narrow and you don't think you can deploy it, don't bother pulling it out. Instead, you know, if you made a mistake, it's no worries. Like, you can just drop it on the ground. Like, oh shit, I can't deploy any flame turret nearby. Don't waste the time carrying it around and slowly walk into an ideal point where you can deploy it. Just drop it on the ground, no problem. It will automatically self-destruct when it's left alone for a while. So we'll just pull out another one and deploy it. Field like this. As you can see by the blue aura, little scanning ring around the turret, that means it's the range. Basically, it's the visualization of the range. Anytime the Xenomorph steps within the range, the flame turret will automatically turn and burn the Xenomorph. And once the Xenomorph takes enough fire damage, basically it'll come out of its powered runner's mode, where it has access to its deadly tail attack, right? And also, it benefits you a lot. Because Xenomorph in runner's mode is in like lower profiles on all fours and he has smaller tear radius, all that. Now he doesn't get any of those benefits when he's burnt out of his power. So using the flame turret will be very crucial to countering the Xenomorph. I think the turret yeah, dropped on the ground, eventually self-destruct. Maybe I need to go far away from it. I was kind of expecting it to self-destruct soon, but anyways, the flamethrower right here will beep. It has a motion sensor. It will beep if the killer is nearby. I'm gonna ask my friend real quick to come to my location. So even if the killer is undetectable, does not matter. See, I don't hear his terror radius, but he's close. If he's underneath a tunnel or walking on the ground, it doesn't matter. The motion sensor will set off, and you know the killer is near. Go ahead and ask him to move away. It will beep. So, the more rapidly the turret beeps, that means, you know, the killer is coming closer. You know, as logic would dictate, right? Yeah, that's the basics of the flamethrower. One more thing to take note: since you're exhausted, it's nice to have the okay. See, the turret did self-destruct as I mentioned, so you come back. See, number 3 on display. So that's one way you could, like, let's say, yeah. Let's talk about this real quick. Let's say you have a turret deployed. Now you finish a generator, right? You finish the generator right there. Now this turret is kind of like not really useful. Just break down the turret, drop it on the ground. You eventually self-destruct, and then you come back to the control station. So that's one way you could get it to respawn to a more and then deploy it later in a more useful location. As I was saying previously, since you're exhausted, you can see I have balance landing on my right perk slot. If I fall, it won't trigger it. So it's nice little things like that you can make use of, take advantage of when you have the turret giving you the debuff. Yeah. So just use this is how you use the flame turret to your advantage. So yeah. Every time you deploy a turret and the killer comes out from a tunnel, right? Right. Every time he comes out from that control station, the little tunnels underneath the control station, the turret will get a little bit disabled for temporarily and then come back online. This is how you tell if the Xenomorph is traversing around the map. So let's say I ask him to come out, see, it gets disabled. And now we're gonna ask him to come to my location to get... See, it beeps more rapidly. See, he gets disabled when he comes out of a tunnel. There you go. Yeah, sorry, I don't want to hear the turret beeping, so I asked my friend to go away. Anyway. So when it's depleted like this, the flame turret needs to be repaired. Okay, I just want to quickly wrap up flame turrets by telling players that when you open the box, right, you can see it depletes the number of available turrets. So if you're like opening the box just to open it so that later, okay, like you do a gen, like okay, maybe later I want to deploy the turret, do not do that. That reduces the number of available turrets around the map. So when you do that, that is cutting one less turret around the map that your teammate could be using. If you're not intending to deploy a turret at all, don't bother opening the box. But with that said, at least an undeployed turret in the box will eventually self-destruct. So it's not too bad of a mistake to make, but it could kill your team in a critical moment. So do take note of that. But that wraps up the basics of flame turrets. Some very basic tips when going up against the Xenomorph. Make sure you have a flame turret deployed nearby so you can run to it, and maybe he gets a little bit unlucky and then he gets burned out of his power. He becomes a normal M1 killer, and then do your normal looping stuff against the M1 killer. Now, the problem is if he's within his power, or you don't have any flame turret nearby to bring him out of his power, or you got unlucky and he managed to destroy the flame turret in time before he was brought out of his power, then you're gonna have to be very erratic with your movements. Let's say you're gonna reach a window or pallet to drop it, but he's right behind you. Never, 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 ever drop the pallet. It's kind of like Huntress, right? You never drop the pallet against Huntress, same when he has his power, so I faked it right there. This is a good example of me faking it. I thought he might prepare another tail whip attack, but I got hit instead. And make sure to fully utilize your perk against the killer. And if he's very far away, you can just pre-throw the pallet, stay safe. No worries, just pre-troc Shack pallet at 5 gens. Very, very good. And yeah, this is how you basically play around Xenomorph's power. And that's gonna be it for the basics of how to counter the Xenomorph. So I hope you guys enjoyed this video, and if you did, be sure to like, share, and subscribe, all that stuff. It helps support the channel so I can keep bringing more Dead by Daylight related content. And yeah, I'll catch you all next time. Peace out. Okay, this is too funny. I have to record this.